Okay, say 1, John.
1,
2, 3,
4,
5,
6.
Okay. When I was a little girl and I learned about the extinction of dinosaurs, I thought it was such a strange idea that an animal could live on the earth and then in a second be gone. So today I'm going to talk to you about the extinction of the western black rhino. First, we're going to talk about the western black rhino and what it was like, maybe where it lived, what it ate, how big it was, things like that. Second, we're going to talk about the causes of its extinction. And last, we're going to talk about things that are being prevented so other species of rhinos don't go extinct as well. So, first to begin, the western black rhino was actually declared extinct this Thursday, November the 10th, by the IUCN. Now, the IUCN is the biggest conservation group on the planet, and they actually observe over 62,000 species of plants and animals and kind of observe and make sure that they're not going into extinction or try to do things to make sure that they don't. Now, the western black rhino was once very widespread in the central and western areas of Africa in the savannas. Now, a survey was done in 2006 in Cameroon. Now, Cameroon is a country in Africa. It was actually the last habitat for the western black rhino. And they did a survey, kind of scanned out the area to see if there were any rhinos left, and they couldn't find any. So since then, they've done more research and they have been officially declared extinct. Now, the western black rhino is a subspecies of the general black rhino, so it's not the entire black rhino species that has gone extinct, it's one subspecies. So they were herbivores, they ate plants and fruits and things like that, not animals. They were huge, immense animals. They were somewhere between 9 and 12 feet long and 4 and 6 feet tall, so that's a lot of animal. And they were between 1,800 and 2,900 pounds, so that's almost 3,000 pounds of rhino. Now, the western black rhino has 2 horns. That's characteristic of all rhinos. Okay, now, the horns measure, the first one, somewhere between 2 and 4 feet long, and the second one measures around 2 feet. So these are huge, huge horns, and I'm sorry, the first one measures up to 4 feet long, so it's a lot bigger. And these are the reasons why the rhinos were so interesting to the poachers. Now, these horns are made of keratin. Now, unlike elephants or other species that have horns, the keratin is only in the middle, whereas the rhinos, the keratin is the entire horn, so that's what makes it so valuable. Now, these horns were used for defense, intimidation, and for digging when they were looking for food. Whoops. Now, like I said before, we're going to now talk about the causes of their extinction. Now, these animals were poached into extinction because of their 2 horns. Now, to the poachers, these horns were seen as trophies. It was something that they would just kill the animals and take the horns. They wouldn't take anything else, like maybe some trophy, like some natives would take meat or things like that. These people just took the horns. So, and they also sold them to shamans or things like that for traditional medicine, not anything modern, just very traditional. Now, this doesn't mean what they did was correct, it's just kind of what they did. Now, another reason why these rhinos went into extinction is because there has been no, there has been no, I'm messing up, but it's okay. There's been no kind of litigation on what's going on for the poaching. It has become this huge, huge industry, and it's almost commercial. And there's a large market in China and other parts of Asia. So, like I said before, there has been limited anti-poaching efforts. Now, the NPR actually discussed this when they heard about the release of the white rhino, and they found out that in 2000 there was a huge poaching incident, and only 10 were found left to be alive. So somewhere between 2000 and 2006, those animals died, and that's why they couldn't find any more. So now we're going to go ahead and talk about some of the things that are being done to prevent the extinction of other rhino species. Now, there's 2 other species that are really much on the brink of extinction. One is the northern white rhino, and the other is the Java rhino. Now, the northern white also lives in Africa, and it's susceptible to poaching, but the Java rhino lives in Indonesia. However, it has been restricted to now just the island of Java because there's so few of them. Now, some of the things that are being done to make sure that they don't go into extinction as well is conserving their habitats. So, for example, like polar bears, they're slowly becoming endangered and going into extinction because their habitats are no longer livable. So that's some of the things that some conservationists are doing. Now, what they can also do is relocate these rhinos into different homes. This photo is actually a rhino being airlifted by a helicopter from an area of very high poaching to a more safe environment. So these animals can also be put into captivity. there were no western black rhinos put into captivity, so they don't exist anymore. This is something that wasn't done for that species and can be done for others. Now the last thing that can be done is they can be breeded. When put into captivity or on reservations, they can breed these animals to make sure that they continue as a species. So, thank you for listening. We can recap in conclusion that we talked about what black rhinos were, what they were like, and what kind of creatures they were. We talked about the causes of their extinction, and last we talked about things that are being prevented so their extinction of other rhinos doesn't happen as well. So thank you for listening.